Hello everyone, my name is Marcus, and today I bring you our daily Tesla report for Thursday, June 15th, 2023. Before going through all the charts, I want to encourage you to click like, subscribe, and share the content with friends and colleagues. Also, please check out our YouTube channel Millox News, where we offer a full range of daily and weekly analytical videos, just like this Tesla report. We do daily triple Q and SPY analysis, a weekly analysis on the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, and the long-term bond ETF, the TLT, as well as 2 individual stock picks a week that you will never see on YouTube. These are more oriented towards the long-term swing trader of 3 to 5 weeks and the short-term investor of 3 to 5 months, always looking for 20% movements in the stocks we are analyzing. So check out our website. I don't need to remind you, but I will anyway. A few weeks ago, we settled above an 18-month descending channel top at 203.08, which triggered a significant long-term buy signal. By long-term, I mean that I believe we are going to surpass 271.37 before the end of the year. Whether or not we will reach the all-time high of 1449 before the end of the year is another question. I will say yes if we settle soon above the low to 70s. Until then, we could fall from here. Our midterm target is the region of 270.49 to 271.37, a convergence at this moment between a long-term speed line and a rising channel top. That has been our quick 2 to 3 month target that is now almost within reach in 3 weeks. Here we are, a vertical movement, a good rally after that buy signal of 203.08. The low 270s can contain buying on a monthly, possibly quarterly basis. We can grow overbought from here as we move into the third quarter and fall back. How far south? Well, we'll take it one day at a time. I believe that initially, and I'll just go to the daily chart for that. Once we test the low to 70s, 270.20 to be exact on the daily chart, we can fall back in a week or two to the low to mid to 40s. But we could perhaps fall all the way back to the low 200 area after a test of this channel top. Because the channel bottom, the channel top, is nothing more than a trend line right now, but it will become a channel bottom once we test the channel top of 271.37. We could fall back to the channel bottom, is really what I will say. I don't have that exact number for you right now. It's in the 180s or 190s and rising, and that is the dynamic that I see could play out. We push into the low to 70s, we fall back to the channel bottom, we rotate back up, and so on. We could trade within this structure for some time. That is the big picture, and that's really all I'm going to say about that. Let's move on to the day itself. I have 258.15. That's that long-term Fibonacci level that goes back to the extreme high of November 2021 to the January 2023 pullback low. I would say we've had some hesitation here, and we even closed above it on Tuesday by a hair, backed off on Wednesday, and closed back below it. I reduced it to just a minor intraday pivot point. I'm going to leave this chart open. I don't have it labeled, but I'm going to show you that if we push or open today above 258.15, you should allow for 265.74 intraday. 265.74. If you can see the cursor, you can see that there was this pullback low here that goes back to September of 22. I believe you have this kind of double triple top thing. The intermediate low was 265.74. You have this pullback high that was in the 264 handle at the time, but I'm really leaning on 265.74 as an area that if tested can contain session strength. I don't expect it to contain buying until next week or anything. I'm still anticipating the low 270s. So I will say that if we close above this pullback low of 265.74 today, we could actually reach that targeted 272.20 channel top tomorrow. That would meet our midterm target following the settlement several weeks ago above 203.08. So if you bought the out of the money calls 265, 270, 275, and we're pushing into the low 270s, you can take at least some profits here because I think the chances of rotating back into the mid to 40s within a week or two are very good. And I think there's a good chance that over the next few months, 2 to 3 months or sooner, we could rotate all the way back to the channel bottom, which is presently, and I'm just eyeballing it as I said earlier, in the 180s. I believe. Let's talk downside today. I have 252.97 as a steeply rising channel bottom that takes into account the last couple of weeks of trade. I think it is well suited to contain daily selling pressures, and I also think that if we close below it, it will indicate a good high for the week. If we close below 252.97, I think the low 240s, mid 240s are likely tomorrow. And I'm still going to stick by this area, this band of channel support that we gapped above about 4 days ago, 3 days ago. That is a new base of support, short term, only able to contain weekly selling pressures, as you can see here to the far right, which is to say by this point in time through next week if tested over the next day or two. So if we test the area of 242.38 to 244.16 in the next few days, it can contain selling through next week. And from here, we can rotate back up into the low 270s within a week or two after testing the area of 242.38 to 244.16. The last thing I'll say is that if we close below 242.38 and you bought those out of the money calls 265, 270, 275 that I mentioned, you might consider taking some profits at that point, because if we close below this mid band of 240.255 on the weekly chart, I think this can unravel in a significant way. I don't mean to rattle anyone's cage, but I do think that there's nothing to say that we couldn't unravel all the way back into the low 200 area within a few weeks. This rally has been significant, substantial, and increasingly vertical, and I think once the high is in, it can give it back. I don't think it's going to give it all back, but it can give plenty back. Falling back into the low 200 area wouldn't surprise me. That becomes signaled if we close below 242.38. That's all I've got for Thursday's Tesla report. I'll be back tomorrow with Friday's report. Please click like, share, subscribe, and check out our YouTube channel Milox News. Thank you.